What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is actually gonna be a follow-up video to a video I made about a year ago. It also is the most popular video on my channel by a long shot about why Apex Legends is better than Warzone. And I'd really like to follow up on that because about a year ago, it was still pretty contested whether Apex Legends was in fact better than Call of Duty's Warzone. But nowadays, I think it is pretty clear at this point to say that Apex Legends is better than Call of Duty Warzone in just about every way possible. Now again, I'm not saying that you can't enjoy Call of Duty's Warzone, and I'm saying you can, not enjoy Apex Legends, but what I am saying is that at this point, Apex Legends is the superior game over Warzone. Again, I will go ahead and give all my reasoning, and I will explain all my points as to why I believe that, and I think a great place to start is going to be the overall map variety here. So Apex Legends, since the start, has had Kings Canyon. They also added World's Edge in Season 3, Olympus in Season 7, and then most recently they have added Stormpoint, which is a much more new map, and it's a lot bigger as well. And on top of all the Battle Royale maps they also added an entirely new game mode, and this whole game mode has smaller maps, and they have a map called Drop Off, Habitat 4, Encore, Overflow, Party Crasher, Phase Runner, and I'm sure there's a few other maps, but at this point you can see that Apex has a large catalog of maps that they have in rotation, usually at all times. Call of Duty's Warzone, on the other hand, has Caldera, which is a brand new map that they added since the last video that I made, and then also Rebirth Island, which is still a great map, and they've made a few changes to that one as well. The main point that I'm trying to emphasize here is Apex has a much larger catalog and variety of maps and ways to play the Battle Royale, while Call of Duty has been stuck on two maps that really don't have a whole lot to offer in terms of gameplay variety versus Apex Legends. Rebirth Island is the best option that they have, and Rebirth Island, as compared to most of the Apex maps, doesn't stand close. For this, Apex will get an overall 4.5 out of 5, while Call of Duty's Warzone is going to get a solid 3 out of 5. The next point I'd like to go ahead and go over is going to be the overall skill gap between the games. Apex Legends is a much more complicated, complex shooter, and overall is going to be a lot more difficult than Call of Duty's Warzone. Warzone, you really only have to focus on learning the initial movements and some of the skill jumps, and then also mastering a lot of the weapons that float in and out of the meta at a lot of times, and there's a lot of weapons to do that, so that is something that's pretty skillful. However, if your only skill gap is really minor movement and weapons, then you overall have a very low skill ceiling. Apex Legends, on the other hand, has a very, very high skill ceiling, and you can tell the difference between a low-level player, an average player, and a top-level player very easily. It is very easy to distinguish the two. Apex Legends has movement abilities, they have legend abilities, they have weapons. There's so many different ways to play Apex that you can really play this game a lot and not be able to master it. People like Nick Merckx, who have switched over, are starting to get really good at this game, but they've been playing for months on months now, and they still don't have the game mastered, even though they are really good at it. And that's something, and that's a really good tell that this game has a very high skill ceiling and a very high skill gap that a lot of people can invest a lot of time and get a lot of reward out of it. So for my scoring in this section, Apex Legends is going to get a perfect 5 out of 5, while Call of Duty's Warzone is going to get, again, a 3 out of 5. Alright, so the next points I want to go ahead and touch on is the reasons to fight / not camp. And for this, Call of Duty's Warzone, you only really have an incentive to go after kills if you're going for high kill games or kill records or things like that. There's really no incentive to actually go after kills. So you end up having a lot of people who will just camp in buildings, Timmy Turners hiding with shotguns around corners, things like that. And, there's nothing wrong with camping, but players should be incentivized to go out and explore and to fight other players. This contrasts really nicely with Apex because there's a lot of reasons to actually fight in Apex Legends. So the main reasons behind that is red Evo shields. You can only get that by fighting a lot of players and doing a lot of damage. You can get it from replicating a bunch, but you have to move around a lot and collect a lot of crafting materials to actually be able to do that, which again involves you moving around, which usually gets you into fights and keeps you not camping. That contrasts really nice with Warzone, because in Warzone after you get your loadout, there's really no incentive to keep looting or keep discovering. The only thing you really want to do is reposition to a new building to set up shop. That's really all there is to do in Warzone after you get your loadout. There's not really an incentive to go out and fight people to get more cash or things like that. Even though Apex Legends has characters that are specifically designed to camp in a building, it still keeps you moving around the map, though it may not be a direct incentive to go move around the map. It gives you a lot of really good reasons to actually get out of your comfort zone and to move around. Unless you're playing ranked, but that's really the only thing where that does have a change. So for this category, I'm going to go ahead and give Apex a 4 out of 5, while I'm going to go ahead and give Call of Duty's Warzone a 1 out of 5 here. Another point that I'm going to go ahead and bring up here is actually a comment that I received on the previous video, and that was characters versus operators. Apex Legends has proper characters that have developments, that have personalities, that also have, you know, opportunities for character arcs throughout their time in the games. While Call of Duty's operator system that tries to make you care about these people or things like that, they really just miss the mark. They don't feel like characters. They feel like a hollow, cool skin that you can wear, but that's really about it. There is no character with the Call of Duty operators that they bring in. They tried to mimic that from games like Overwatch, Apex, things like that. I feel like they've really missed the mark on this one. I really hope they can turn that around with Warzone 2, and we could see some proper characters. So if we do spend money on the game, it feels like it's going for our characters rather than just a hollow, maybe cool-looking operator. For this section, the scoring is going to be Apex is going to get a 5 out of 5 in this section, while Warzone is going to get a 2 out of 5 in this. So the last couple sections are actually going to kind of go hand in hand here, and those are going to be bugs and glitches, player decline, and streamer switching. So the main problem with that is a lot of bugs and glitches in these games will really get players to drop off or streamers to switch games, and you saw that happen a lot with how Warzone was handled in the Cold War area. There was so many bugs and glitches and exploits, hackers, all that stuff that had so many streamers switching from Warzone to Apex, and you saw a huge increase in Apex players over the last year from the amount of bugs, glitches, problems with Warzone. Now, let me be clear, Apex is definitely not perfect in this area. They are almost as bad as Warzone, but they're not as bad as Warzone. Warzone is a complete failure, while Apex is a partial failure. Apex really needs a season dedicated to just patching bugs and glitches and things like that. We don't really need any new operators. I just want to see a season dedicated to just fixing bugs. Especially on the last gen consoles, it is very much more noticeable on last gen than it is on the current gen or even on PC. Bugs and glitches are a crucial part of games' health, and we all saw when streamers like Nick Merckx or, you know, other big figures switched games because of the amount of bugs, glitches, and overall problems with the game. That cannot be understated enough. And for this section, I'm going to go ahead and give Apex a 3.5 out of 5, while I'm going to give Warzone a 1 out of 5. Alright, so my final score for this video, I'm going to give Apex a 22 out of 25, and Warzone is going to have a 10 out of 25. If you do disagree with me, please let me know in the comments, and let's try to have a proper discussion about the games. And there's nothing wrong with just enjoying Warzone for what it is. But I will say it's something that personally harmed my enjoyment, and which has really got me to stop playing the game. And, you know, if you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out, boys.